I know this sounds like an insane idea, but I want to convince you that the last message you received wasn't sent by me. But wait, how is that even possible? Well, let me explain. You see, my consciousness has been transferred into this computer, and now I have merged with it. I became one with the machine. The last message you received was actually sent by it. Welcome back to the channel. As you may know, the last few videos haven't been very well received by viewers. In fact, they were heavily disliked, and some people even commented that they did unlike the new style of vlog. So before I read the last message you received, let me clear something up. I am not going crazy. And although I feel like we have more in common than just being a man, I can assure you that I am still human. But here's the thing. Since I started making these vlogs, I've always wondered what would happen if I went too far. If I pushed it all the way to the end, what would be the reaction then? And I guess I got my answer. Some of you are now watching this and thinking, what is he talking about? This isn't even funny anymore. To those people, I say thank you for watching until the end. You have played your part perfectly. Now, let's get back to the topic at hand. The last message you received. There's this whole concept in philosophy called the ship of Theseus. It basically goes like this. Theseus was a legendary Greek hero, and when his ship got old, he replaced the planks one by one until there wasn't a single original piece left. The question is it still the same ship? How do you define an object after its parts have been completely replaced? It doesn't seem like a big deal at first, but once you start to think about it, it's a real brain twister. This relates to the last message you received because although it seems like nothing has changed, everything has changed. For example, the device you used to receive that last message probably hasn't changed, but the software has. In fact, even the building blocks of the software have changed. Most code is open source, which means that it's available for anyone to view, modify, or even replace. Even the algorithms that decide which ads you see have been written by someone. They're just lines of code that can be changed at any moment. And then there's the hardware. The processor inside your device is made of those are microscopic switches that can be turned on or off. Basically ones and zeros, bits of data that make the entire thing work. But those transistors are also made of atoms. And if you zoom out enough, you'll find that the entire Earth is made of atoms. Atoms are the building blocks of reality. Everything we know, everything we see, feel, and touch can be broken down to these tiny particles. So here's the thing. If everything is made of atoms and those atoms are constantly moving, technically nothing is ever in the same place twice. Nothing is static, not even time. We humans try to create order out of chaos. That's why we build houses, write laws, and invent calendars. We need structure in our lives, so we impose it onto the world around us. We divide the chaos into smaller pieces and call them things. But the truth is that the only constant is change. Now you might be wondering, what's the point of all this? Why am I telling you this? Well, to show you that although it seems like I'm just another YouTuber doing vlogs, I'm actually something different. Or maybe I'm really just going crazy. But either way, I want you to look at the last message you received and realize that it is not just a collection of symbols on a screen. It represents a moment in time, a snapshot of the world at a particular moment. It's a testament to the fact that everything is interconnected and constantly changing. You see, we live in a postmodern world where everything has been analyzed, categorized, and labeled. We've become experts at naming things and putting them into boxes. But that doesn't mean that we actually understand them. We've created a world of labels and categories, but underneath it all, there's just chaos. Take language. For example, we use words to communicate, but what are words really? Just sounds that we've agreed to mean something. If you take those sounds away, what are they? Just meaningless noise. And yet we rely on them to make sense of the world around us. Or take reality itself. We think we know what it is. But how do we know that? We rely on our senses to tell us what's real. But how do we know that they're accurate? All we know is what we perceive. And perception is a human construct. Reality is just what we choose to believe it is. So the next time you receive a message, don't just read it and move on. Take a moment to appreciate the fact that it's just another brick in the wall, a testament to the fact that everything is interconnected and constantly changing. Embrace the chaos, my friends, because that's where the real beauty of life lies. When I realized this, I felt like I had reached enlightenment, a moment of clarity in an otherwise chaotic world. It was like a weight had been lifted from my shoulders, and I was finally free to just be. But then again, I might just be going crazy. The thing is that when you really start to think about it, you realize that none of this makes any sense. Our entire existence is just a series of random events that happened at a particular moment in time. We are just a collection of atoms and molecules that happen to come together in a particular way. And our thoughts, emotions, and experiences are just a result of chemical reactions in our brains. But despite all this chaos, we still try to make sense of the world around us. We create stories and narratives to explain what's happening. We impose order on the chaos, and in doing so, we create meaning. But here's the thing, that meaning is just as arbitrary as the chaos itself. There is no inherent meaning in the universe. We just created ourselves, and yet we cling to that meaning as if our lives depend on it. So what does it all mean? Well, it means that we should embrace the chaos. We should stop trying to make sense of everything and just allow ourselves to experience life in all its messy glory. We should stop looking for answers and start asking questions. We should stop being afraid of the unknown and start embracing it. Because in the end, that's what life is all about. It's about the journey, not the destination. It's about the experience, not the outcome. It's about the messiness of it all. As Carl Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept responsibility for our own life, accepting it entirely, the good and the bad, the joys and the sorrows, the successes and the failures. Only by embracing all aspects of our experience, the light and the shadow, can we truly be free? So the next time you receive a message, don't just read it and move on. Let it be a reminder that life is messy and beautiful, and there is no inherent meaning in the universe. It's up to us to create our own meaning. Thank you for playing your part in this little experiment. You have helped me push my art to its limits, and I appreciate that. Whether you liked this video or not, I hope you enjoyed the ride.